Call the meeting of City Council on June 7, 2021 to order. At this time, I'll ask Butch McSwain if he'll lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
This time, I'd like to call Reverend Wayne Johnson Sr. from Shiloh AME Church to please deliver an invocation.
Let us pray. O thou in whose presence my soul does take delight, and in whom in affliction I call, because you are my comfort by day, my song in the night, and you are my hope, my salvation, my all. We thank you for the presence of mind to come to be concerned about our city. We thank you for the presence of mind to know how wonderful it is when 2, 3, 4 can walk together. Help us to understand that justice must roll down like water and righteousness as a mighty stream. We continue to pray for our city. Bless those who have been elected to lead our city, and bless us as citizens of this city to make Morganton a wonderful and beautiful place to live. Continue to smile upon us favorably. We thank you for all that you have done. And gracious, eternal Father, we ask that you would not only be with us today, but be with us on the rest of the journey called life. Amen.
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 Thank you, Reverend Johnson. Next, I'd like to introduce City Council. To my far right, Wendy Cato, Mayor Pro Tem, Chris Jernigan, City Council, Louis Vini, our City Attorney, Ronnie Thompson, your Mayor, Sally Sandy, City Manager, Butch McSwain, City Council, Chris Hawkins, City Council, Kelly Russell, our Recording Secretary, and our interpreters for the deaf are Daniette Stillman Bridges and Ernest Williams IV. We have a retirement resolution. One of our employees has retired, and I'd like to read that retirement resolution. A resolution honoring Robert L. Patton. Whereas Robert L. Patton was employed by the City of Morganton as truck driver in the Public Works Department on September 20th, 2004, promoted to equipment operator on September 19th, 2005, and held the position of equipment operator in various Public Works division, the street maintenance, sanitation and rough trash, and street sweeping, and transferred to as a street sweeper on August 7, 2017. And whereas Robert Patton has faithfully served the City of Morganton in the Public Works Department and has given of his time and efforts for the benefit of the citizens of the City of Morganton for 17 years and 4 months, and whereas Robert L. Patton retired from the City of Morganton as a street sweeper in the Public Works Department on June 1st, 2021, and whereas Robert L. Patton has been a tremendous asset to the city in providing professional, prompt, and courteous customer service to its citizens, and whereas the Morganton City Council wishes to officially recognize the contributions of Robert L. Patton and express their appreciation for a job well done. Now therefore be it resolved by the City of Morganton that the mayor present this resolution to Robert L. Patton, adopted this 7th day of June, 2021. Ronnie Thompson, Mayor, Sally Sandy, Clerk. I'm going to ask Councilman Butch McSwain if he'll present that. Robert, if you'll come forward, please.
Robert, on behalf of the mayor and the city council and the citizens of Morganton, thank you for your years of service. I'll have to say I've always been amazed at the street sweeper. I love to follow that thing around. And it has been great having you with us. I hope you enjoy the retirement as much as some of us other retired city employees have.
I appreciate it. Enjoy working here.
Robert, would you like to say anything?
I just appreciate working here.
Great.
Like 17 years. You meet a lot of people. Oh, well.
Thanks for all you do.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Do I have a motion to adopt that resolution?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. We have a service pin to present. I don't think that employee is here. Tim Nip, who is our Recreation Supervisor, Maintenance and Facilities. For 20 years, we'll make sure he gets that pin. Next on our agenda, our public advocacy. We've got a very special resolution tonight. I'm going to ask the Freedom High School Lady Patriot golf team to come forward and stand in front. Just come right up here, make a circle.
Up here. They didn't bring the clubs.
I like the T-shirts.
Yeah.
I'd like to read that resolution. It says, whereas the 2021 Freedom High School Lady Patriot golf team enjoyed its most successful season, and whereas the Lady Patriots won the state 3A Girls Golf Championship by 18 strokes, and whereas the Patriot team consists of Anna, here we go, Sakarski, yeah. Albany Bach, Christina Fisher, Kaylin Best, Bayla Hauk, Grace Norris, and Hannah Piercy, and Coach Rob Scott. And whereas the hard work of the members of the Patriot girls team and their commitment to teamwork and fair play represent the very best qualities of high school athletics. And whereas Patriot fans and supporters joined the Freedom High School Lady Patriot golf team and Coach Scott in celebrating their successful season and the state championship. Therefore, in recognition of outstanding sports achievement and on behalf of the entire city of Morganton, the City Council of the City of Morganton resolves that the Freedom High School Lady Patriot golf team and their coach be congratulated for their outstanding championship season and especially for their sportsmanship, and that Wednesday, June the 9th, 2021, be proclaimed as Freedom High School Lady Patriot Golf Team Day throughout Morganton, and I urge all citizens to join me in recognizing the teamwork and effort put forth by the 2021 Freedom Lady Patriot Golf Team, adopted this day, 7th day of June, 2021. Ronnie Thompson, Mayor, Sally Sandy, Clerk. Do I have a motion to accept this resolution?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. I'll ask Councilman Chris Jernica if he'll present that resolution, please.
On behalf of our entire city, it gives me great honor to hand you this resolution and to say congratulations on what a fantastic year.
Yes.
Yeah.
Coach, I'm going to ask you if you'd step over there and say something for us, would you? Not to put you on the spot.
The microphone, I'm like,
Yeah.
Oh, no, in the microphone.
It's for the people
I know you're
listening.
loud.
It's for the people listening.
all right, I just want to congratulate all of them. It was their hard work. All I had to do was hold them a little bit accountable. That was about it. And I appreciate all the recognition we've gotten from the city and other folks over the last 4 or 5 weeks since this happened. It was a fun ride.
Yeah.
It was a fun ride.
It's good.
Thank you.
Good job.
Ladies, thank you all so much.
Very good.
We have another recognition tonight I'd like to recognize, please. Morganton Public Safety Captain Jason Weston, who I think is in the audience with us. He's been recognized as the Western Piedmont Community College 2020 Alumnus of the Year. Jason, congratulations. We have a Human Rights Commission update. I'm going to call Reverend Johnson back to the podium lectern, please, and give us an update on the Human Relations Commission, please.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and members of the council. First of all, point of personal privilege, sir. Thank you for recommending me to be able to serve another term, and I'm grateful to do that. And here I'd like to make a report which we are required to do, and here it is. First of all, good evening to all of you. In addition to being the pastor of Shiloh African Methodist Episcopal Church, I find myself again being the chair of the city's Human Relations Commission, and wanted to give you an update on the HRC's activities. As there is a lot on the docket for this evening, I will not act like I'm at Shiloh Church. One of the items that we have mentioned at our last update was to partner with other groups, and we are doing just that, partnering with the NAACP and co-sponsoring the Juneteenth celebration at Carmel on June 19th. Our communications committee is preparing flyers and media to help spread the word about the HRC to make sure people know that we are here and have a forum to bring forth issues. The Special Projects Committee is planning additional events to promote inclusion and diversity in our community. Additional details will be shared as plans get finalized. One of the issues that has come before the committee over the past few months is the acts of violence based on race, intolerance, and hatred that have become more commonplace across our country. The HRC has drafted a statement that Vice Chair Mrs. Gail Jones wishes to share with the body this evening. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Reverend Johnson, for all you do.
Thank you,
Ask
sir.
Ms. Jones to come forward, please.
Good evening.
Good evening.
The HRC anti-violence statement. Over the course of the past year, the news has been filled with stories exemplifying intolerance of different races and violence against minorities. The videos of policy brutality, public leaders referring to COVID-19 by its country of origin, and individuals being attacked for no other reason than the color of their skin or the uniform they wear are commonplace in the national mainstream media. When acts of racism and exemplary bias are broadcast, it can embolden others to take similar actions and cause their hatred to spread. The Human Relations Commission invites the City Council to take a stand and policy denounce such acts of intolerance, discrimination, and violence. Such vile actions have no place in Morganton, a diverse community where all people, regardless of race, ethnicity, language, religion, legal status, gender, or sexuality, economic status, or disability, should feel safe and included. We continue to push for an America where all people are treated with dignity and equality, and that begins in our city. Thanks.
Gail, thank you so much. Okay. Next on our agenda is a proclamation of National Homeownership Month. Whereas for many years, the month of June has been formally recognized by presidential proclamation as National Homeownership Month, and whereas the President has by formal proclamation designated June 2021 as National Homeownership Month, and whereas this month is the occasion to affirm the joy and benefits of homeownership, and to recognize that for millions of Americans, owning a home is an important step towards financial security and toward achieving the American dream. And whereas numerous benefits are associated with homeownership, including giving giving people a place of comfort and safety to call their own and raise their family, supporting local businesses through construction, maintenance, and finance, and fostering bonds of friendship with others who live and work in the same neighborhoods. And whereas the City of Morganton fully endorses and acknowledges the many benefits and advantages to our community of continued and growing homeownership, and wishes to publicly state that the city's affirmation of the importance of homeownership. Now, therefore, I, Rodney Thompson, Mayor of the City of Morganton, by the authority vested in me by statute and by the city's charter, do hereby proclaim that June 2021 to be recognized and celebrated in Morganton as National Homeownership Month. This, the 7th day of June, 2021. Rodney Thompson, Mayor, Sally Sandy, City Clerk. Do I have a motion to accept this proclamation?
So moved.
Is that second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes.
And Beverly's here.
Okay, I'll ask Chris Hawkins if he would present that to
Beverly.
Beverly.
she's in the back.
Oh, there she is, okay.
Beverly, both of us have jobs where we're trying to help our citizens achieve the American dream of home ownership. And I know Olive Hill strives to advance affordable home ownership opportunities to our citizens. And so it's an honor to present this proclamation of National Home Ownership Month to you and Olive Hill.
Thank you. I have a minute to say something.
You may have a minute.
Everybody deserves a place to live, whether it's renting or home ownership. So that's what we're all about. HUD right now is still focusing on the helping individuals and families obtain, sustain, and retain their homes. And we here in Morganton are their agent that's working for them, along with our industry partners, Chris, and realtors, mortgage brokers, financial institutions, and insurance companies. We're making sure that people stay in their homes during this pandemic. The City of Morganton has assigned us some funds that we're using to help people with rent and mortgage assistance to make sure that they're not being evicted during this critical time. We are continuing to close the home ownership gap. That is by addressing the disparities in home ownership rates and affordability gap that is significant and widespread barriers that exist. We are a HUD-approved housing counseling agency, and we stand here proudly to say, this is National Home Ownership Month. You have any questions, please come by. Look us up. We have classes every third Monday for home ownership. Plus, we do the down payment assistance, closing cost program, and help people find the mortgages that are right for them. Thank you so much for observing this month with us.
Thank you, Beverly. Okay, we have another proclamation. This one is for Juneteenth proclamation. Whereas on January 1st, 1863, President Abraham Lincoln issued the Emancipation Proclamation, providing that all persons held as slaves within any state or designated part of a state shall be thenceforward, and forever free. And whereas President Lincoln correctly believed slavery to be in violation of the principles of the Declaration of Independence, and that its abolition represented a new birth of freedom for the United States. And whereas on June 19, 1865, almost 2.5 years later, Major General Gordon Granger arrived in Galveston, Texas, and announced the end of both the Civil War and slavery with this announcement, quote, "The people of Texas are informed that in accordance with a proclamation of the Executive of the United States, all slaves are free," end quote. Whereas Texas began the celebration of Juneteenth in 1866 with community events, and as freed families immigrated from Texas to other parts of the United States, they carried the Juneteenth celebration with them. And whereas Juneteenth is the oldest nationally celebrated commemoration of the ending of slavery, and whereas Juneteenth is an important opportunity to join with people across the nation in celebrating the good news of freedom and the end of the evil of slavery, now therefore I, Ronnie Thompson, Mayor of the City of Morganton, to hereby proclaim June 19th, 2021 as Juneteenth Day in Morganton. And furthermore, I call upon all citizens in this community to gain knowledge of and join in the celebration of Juneteenth in Morganton. Presented this 7th day of June, 2021, Ronnie Thompson, Mayor, Sally Cindy, City Clerk. I'll ask Artie McKesson Logan to come forward and receive this proclamation.
Need a motion to amend. Oh, okay. It's May.
It's a proclamation, he doesn't.
I'll let you say a few words.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and thank you, City Council. I am so happy. I came before you last month, and I want to thank you for your speedy response to this. I appreciate it from the bottom part of my heart. Last year, during one of the lowest periods, I think, that we've had in a long time with the recent killings, murders, or whatever you want to call. I don't know the words to express the pain that I think we all suffered. Also during the pandemic, we got a double whammy there. I had a vision that, we had to do something to uplift and do it locally. The response was great. Was such a short time in preparing, and I want to appreciate your mayor for being there on a short notice. But that was a vision, and we all know with a vision there has to be a plan. When there's a plan, there's movement of motion, and where there's motion, there can be collaboration and communication. This was presented as a request for all citizens of Morganton. And I hope that this will bring about a healing process on a local level to some degree. My heart is full, and I just really appreciate this. It's a time that we will educate, we will inspire, we will collaborate, and hopefully we will become a better city. We're joining over 200 cities now across the state that has this proclamation. I think 47 states have adopted it. So there again, I say thank you so much, and please, please be a part of this, support us, and let's make this a great event. Thank you.
Thank you, Artie. Next on our advocacy, we have a local business update, Unix Packaging Corporation. I believe Tyler Harrison, Plant Operations Manager, is here. Would you come forward, please? Give us an update.
I probably don't need a microphone either, but we'll go ahead and use it. I'm one of those deep voice kind of guys. I'm Ty Harrison. I'm the plant manager for Unix Packaging. This is Brian Geiger, our quality manager. We felt it important that as we get closer to starting up our manufacturing facility that we kind of come and reintroduce ourselves, especially me since I've never been here before, and I figured out that unless I want to be on every single camera shot, I'm not supposed to be sitting in that seat right over there, right?
You're in the hot seat.
I'm sitting there and looking around, and I look up and like, oh, man, that's why they didn't put paper on this seat.
This
slow
way
learner,
everybody
slow
gets to know you.
I appreciate that. So, did you pass out the things? I did. Okay, thank you, Brian. Who is Unix Packaging? Unix Packaging is a family-owned business founded in 2010 that specializes in packaging beverages from small specialty boutiques brands to national beverages, functional beverages, carbonated drinks, purified enhanced waters, and alkaline waters, kombucha, and teas. So, some folks say, since I've already kind of started cutting up a little bit, I'm kind of a jokester. They say, why Morganton, Ty? And I said, well, I got a big boat. Lake James is right up the street. Right. Why not Morganton, right? No, in all actuality, Morganton is a family-oriented community, something that our organization takes very seriously. All of our owners are family, brothers, cousins, so on and so forth. So coming to this location was a very good and a perfect fit for us. Besides the fact, and a little known fact, you probably don't know it, but I-40 is the third longest stretch of highway, right? So how better to move into the community where you need to take your products and get them to the East Coast and being on right off of I-40, right? We've got 85 up the road, 77 up the road, and all kinds of different corridors to be able to logistically reach our customers to be able to deliver a quality product at a lower cost. Like I said, we are expanding. This will be our third site. We have one in Montebello, California, and Las Vegas, Nevada. We take great pride in our facilities. We'll be installing all brand-new equipment. If you don't know, we're out at 100 Ceramic Tile Drive, and it used to be a ceramic building, I guess, from some of the stuff that we found in the concrete floor. Concrete, 48 inches thick. That must have been some heavy machinery put in that building. But anyhow, it was a water plant for Ice River for a bit. So it was kind of a good fit. We're kind of switching things up a little bit. Whereas the south end of the building, Ice River did their manufacturing and they went out the other end. We're kind of changing it around, changing all the drains in the floor, pouring all new concrete, and putting our utilities on the north end of the building. We'll manufacture in the center, and then we'll use the south end of the building as our warehouse and shipping area. We're creating partnerships with the local folks here in Morganton. We're expected to be upwards of $55 million in the project before we're finished. Economic impacts so far, sourcing local materials and contractors such as Fox Built, Wilkie Construction, McMillan Electricians, John Newton Plumbing, Woody's Landscaping, and AA Drywall, just to name a few. So normally an organization building a plant like this, you only have one GC on, a general contractor on plant. I don't know. I don't have enough fingers and toes for how many GCs we've got on site, but we're getting things done in a hurry. We're looking for good folks to join our organization as well. So as we sit here and we talk about the different folks that we've met through the construction site, some of the other things that we've done, she put on here 200 nights in hotel stays. I think I probably got that racked up myself. So we've got technicians coming in from China, from Europe. Our management team, owners are coming in, so we're kind of filling up. I walk in the door down at the Hampton, and Neil's got my card and everything ready for me to go. So we're kind of influxing the community with all of our technicians and stuff. Employment opportunities. We're looking to do a 24/7 operation. Shift-wise, we haven't really kind of figured that out yet. I know my preference, but we're going to run the plant 24/7, especially one of the lines when we first start up. It will be 24/7 right out of the gate. Matter of fact, as soon as that thing gets commissioned, it's 24/7 with the other ones to follow right behind it. We're going to install 5 lines out here, 2 of which will be blow fill. In other words, I'll bring the preforms in the facility, I'll stretch and blow them into bottles, fill them, label them, cap them, package them, send them out. The other 3 lines in the plant will be bringing in raw bottles. So they'll come in, we'll take the bottles, we'll fill them, label them, cap them, package them, and send them back out. We are looking to hire our first 100 employees. I think I'm at 20, so we got to giddy up. Yeah. If we're going to have a July startup date, we got to get moving. So if you're wanting to learn about being a quality person, I don't know why you want to work with Brian, but that's just one of those things. A forklift driver, an operator, learn how we batch the material, then Unix is for you. If you're looking for a safe, clean, family-oriented, fast-paced manufacturing environment and a fun place to work, then Unix Packaging is for you. We offer the normal stuff: medical, dental, vision, 401k match, vacation time, sick time, voluntary benefits, holidays, and so on and so forth. So in closing, because I can, like the Reverend, speech at a pulpit for a very long time, Unix Packaging appreciates the support and warm hospitality received throughout the community, and we look forward to continuing to be a partner for many years to come. With that being said, I do have a floor sweeper position open. Where did Robert go? Did he leave on us? He retired from the town. I've got a floor sweeper spot open. I haven't filled that one yet. We'll be looking for out of this group we want to give back to the community, not only in employment and bringing commerce and everything to the community, but we'll be manufacturing some water containers and stuff like that, and we would like to set up some kind of donation process where we're able to give to the community on a monthly basis. Firefighters, folks in need, women's shelter, police department, whatever it may be. If you guys can give me a list of that kind of stuff, I would greatly appreciate that. You can send it to my email address. It's ty@unix, UNIX, packaging.com.
It's an easy one.
It's pretty easy. Pretty easy.
Any questions for Ty? Welcome to the community.
Thank you.
Thank you for
Thank you so much.
Thank you. It's awfully exciting.
It is awfully exciting, and like I was saying before, it may be an old building, but everything going in, it's brand
It's
new.
brand new.
So, yeah, we can't wait to have our ribbon cutting ceremony and have everybody come out
Anxious
and
to
see
see it,
exactly
yeah.
what we're doing. You wouldn't believe what it takes to put fluid in a bottle. Trust me. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
It.
Okay.
I am moving to another seat.
Next on our agenda is upcoming events. In downtown, the Farmers Market does continue Saturdays, 8 o'clock till noon at 300 Beach Street. There's going to be a variety of live acoustical performances and kids' activities planned for the upcoming months. Please visit www.downtownmorganton.com for more details. Farmers Market on Wednesdays from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. Mini market, that's at 111 North Green Street. The Morganton Downtown Development Association is hosting a social at the Morganton Community House on Tuesday, June 22nd, 5:30 to 7 p.m. The event is free and hors d'oeuvres will be served. Recipients of the Downtown Distinguished Awards and this year's Lifetime Achievement recipient will be announced. The third Thursday Art Crawl will be held on Thursday, July 15th, from 5 to 7:30 at various locations around downtown. Our Parks and Recreation, the College Street Swimming Pool, Martha's Park Splash Pad, and Martin Luther King Jr. Splash Pad are open for the summer. Martha's Park ribbon cutting is going to be Thursday, June 17th at 11 a.m. The 4th of July fireworks will be held Sunday, July 4th, 2021 at night. The fireworks will be shot from the grounds of Freedom Park. The park will be closed to the public to ensure the safety of fireworks operators and the public. People wanting to see the fireworks should find parking in the parking lots of nearby businesses along Independence Boulevard, Wamsutta Mill Road, and North Green Street and NC 181. More details will be released closer to the July 4th holiday. Under comma, our City of Morganton Performing Arts Center, a very magical family reading night with Mark Daniel is on Thursday, June 10th at 6 p.m. 100% of the ticket sales benefit the Burke Literacy Council. The Juneteenth celebration, which we heard about earlier, is going to be Saturday, June 19th, sponsored by the NAAC and the Morganton Human Relations Commission. That celebration will be at, the
Yes.
Performing Arts Center. Thank you. Jason Allen King and Tara Brown, which will be a night of comedy, is Thursday, June 24th at 7 p.m. 100% of those ticket sales benefit the Outreach Center. There's an open house Sunday at June 27th from 1 o'clock to 4 o'clock. There'll be backstage tours, a history of the exhibit, Twist the Balloon Man, refreshments, and free event and door prizes.
And rumor has it that Bill Wilson will be in attendance to share some stories.
He's not going to be
here
Twist
too.
the Balloon Man, is that correct?
He may.
Just checking.
He may.
You never know.
Okay, North Carolina Municipal Power Agency, do we have an update, Sally?
Nothing to share at this time.
We have a consent agenda consists of 7 items. Sally, will you cover that, please?
Absolutely. Those items are considered fairly routine and would ask the council to consider them in a single motion unless there's someone who would like an item discussed separately. And I'll go over those items quickly for those of you viewing at home. The first one are minutes from the May 3rd regular city council meeting, a budget amendment in the amount of $6,000 in the water fund to receive funding for improvements at Clontz Drive, a budget amendment in the amount of $2,319 to the 2021 CDBG project budget ordinance, and that is for a change that HUD sent to us after last month when we adopt the original numbers they gave us, and that is going in the infrastructure line item. And then consideration of appointment of the tax collector, and that would be Jenny McNeely for a period of June 1st, 2021 through July 1, 2022. And then a resolution directing her to collect taxes. The next item is increasing the minimum amount of taxes for non-collection. We've had that set at $1, recommending raising that to $5. So for $5 or less, we would not bill property taxes. That would make us in line with what the county's doing. And then also, overpayments and underpayments for $1 or less would simply be ignored and considered paid properly. Then eliminating the 2021 COVID-19 emergency leave effective tonight at midnight. And we're making enough progress allowing employees, if they have an issue, to use their normally accrued sick time for that. And then finally, consideration of declaring seized weapons as surplus. You have a list of those with serial numbers. The value is $5,505. We would do that trade with Smokefoot Trade and Pawn for a store credit for future purchase of ammunition and supplies.
Do any members of council wish to have any items removed from consent agenda? If not, have a motion to accept the consent agenda.
So moved.
Have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Motion passes. Next on our agenda is what everyone has come to hear is the presentation of a proposed budget for fiscal year 2021-2022. Sally?
Of course they had. Raise your hand if you came for the budget presentation and you're excited.
Almost every
I
hand.
knew this side would have something to say. So here we are, getting ready to talk about the budget for 21-22. And it's really hard to talk about that if we don't reflect just for a moment on 2020-2021. Last year, this time, we sat here and we talked about the difficulty, the unknowns, and everything that we were talking about. All the things we didn't know. There's still things we don't know. There's still things we haven't figured out. There are lots of things we have figured out. And we're still sitting in a bit of a state of flux at this point in time. So every year, I think about a movie when I'm putting my budget message together. And the mayor asked me back in early May, what was I going to use? And I said, I don't know. I haven't been very inspired yet. And so as I thought about it, I came up with Forrest Gump. I mean, he's a great philosopher, and I couldn't think of anything to describe the past 15 months and to look forward better than when Forrest tells us all that his mama always said that life was like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get. And Lord knows this last year has been like a box of chocolates. And from day to day, we didn't necessarily know what we were going to get. What we ended up getting, though, was we figured out a way to get through it, and we figured out a way to do a lot of things. We figured out a way to get over not doing the things we weren't allowed to do, and to recognize that someday we get to do that again. And so today, I'm going to give you all what I am proposing for your consideration for 21-22. And start with some numbers, because you know I can't do this without numbers. So in the current budget, it was $75 million. The one we're asking you to consider is a little over 79, and that's about a 5.5% increase. Seems like kind of a lot, but I'll tell you that that increase sits in two projects, one in water and one in wastewater. We'll talk about that later. So we went through this process again, and Jesse and I kept saying, well, we still got uncertainties. You know, last year we wondered, you know, what were we going to do? How long was the crisis going to last? Now we're trying to figure out, are we really in a recovery? How long is that going to take? What's it going to look like? Stop, starts, all of those things. As always, the economy, things that happen impact our revenues. The ones you control locally, which are only two, really, when you get down to it in the general fund, and that's your tax rate and your solid waste fee. Everything else, somebody else controls in the general fund. Reopening city facilities. We just talked about a whole lot of things. The mayor announced a whole lot of things, and we're starting to get back into that. We're not 100% there yet. And when is that going to be? How is that going to work? Are people going to come? Is everybody ready to get out? Are they going to feel comfortable? Looking at the past 15 months, utility impacts. I mean, we've seen large decreases in our commercial and industrial usage. We're really happy to have you guys coming on board. Thank you for your confidence in our community. We have negotiated, and Beverly talked about this, an unprecedented number of payment plans for past due utilities, past due taxes. We have, to date, distributed over $131,000 for help with utilities and rental assistance, and we're still doing more of that today. So we've come through some pretty rough times, but we're going to make it, and that's really good news. As always, our partnerships in the community, Burke Development, the library, the airport, the COG, Greenway Transportation, all of those entities, our partnership with them is important, and the value of them in this budget for next year is $528,000, and that represents the value of 3 cents on your tax rate. So the general fund, it's where all the stuff happens, where I like to say economic development meets community development, and, we do all the things that you think of non-utility functions with government. So the proposed budget for next year for that is a little over $24 million, 24.2. It's a decrease from the one we're working in this year. That, too, is reflective of some large capital projects that are going on right now. What does the budget do? What does the general fund do? I think that it continues to provide quality services. It continues our commitment and your commitment to invest in the quality of life and activities and facilities and events that happen in this community. I hope it continues to attract new development and people that want to come here, that want to work here, that want to live here, that want to play here, and all of those things. So a little bit about it. I know this is what everybody wants to know. So the tax rates are recommended to stay the same. 57 cents for normal ad valorem taxes, 14 cents for downtown. The regular ad valorem, we're projecting a 98% collection rate, and that's going to generate about $9.6 million. That's 40% of the general fund budget. Downtown, estimated to generate about $130,000. That's at 98.5% collection rate. Those are a little easier to collect, and that's 20% of the Main Street budget for next year. General fund capital. So you know that we remain committed in this community, as all of you have been involved for a while, to large projects, to things that keep moving us forward on our plans, on our master plans, on the things that we believe are investments in the community that make it a better place. This past year, we did not stop that, and there's evidence all over town of where that's going on. The courthouse square, the soccer complex completed, Martha's Park getting dedicated, work at Freedom Park. There's probably 25 other things that I could list out, too. And those all are things that I think make our community what people appreciate. So this coming up year, we're recommending in the general fund about $3.7 million. Lots of vehicles, about really $1.7 million worth in total, but we're financing $1 million of those. Again, financing them for half of their useful life at what are very favorable interest rates, so that we pay for those over the period of time that the people are using them, not as just a straight-out expense in year one. Improvements at Bethel Park, $863,000 to start with. We're seeking grant monies for half of that, $431,000, and that's just the start at Bethel, and we're going to talk a little more about that later tonight. Lots of work over there to restore that stream, to clean up the flooding situation, and then to invest in that park so that it's something we're proud of and up to our standards. Shuey Field restrooms to be replaced because they were damaged in an accident. Also included in there, replacement of tasers, body-worn cameras, and radios in public safety, replacing the downtown music system, and then finally replacing the roof at the historic courthouse. And that is a project that the city and the county will share the cost of. And there's several other things, but those are the highlights. So I need to talk to you just a little bit about revenue. So the beautiful thing in this year that we've just been through is the thing that we thought was going to be the biggest struggle, and that was sales tax. Because at the time that COVID hit and everything was being shut down and nobody had any idea, the wonderful thing that happened at that same time is that in February of 2020, the state of North Carolina, for the first time ever, started collecting sales tax on online sales. And boy, has that been a godsend. And it continues to be one. But before we talk about the other revenues, I want to say to everybody in the room and everybody listening at home, that's great. And I get that you just go right in there and put those things in that cart and you hit that button and it comes to your door and everybody's happy. Don't forget your local businesses. That does not support their bricks and mortar. That does not support their employees that they're trying to employ. That does not support the churn of economy in our community. Buying those things is great, and getting them delivered home and seeing it on your little Ring doorbell and all those things is great. But don't forget our local businesses. If it's here and you can get it, please think about that. Okay, that's my soapbox on that for tonight. Other revenues, utility franchise is a state-shared revenue, and it continues to go down. Occupancy tax, of course, is down. Motor vehicles down. ABC revenue, that 330, we're budgeting the same next year as we think we're going to finish out this year, and to say that's up would be an understatement. It is up. So everybody hasn't had everything delivered on Amazon. Powell bill, really very frightening. So this is our state money that helps us maintain roads. And it has gone down every year for the past 3 or 4 years and continues to go down. It'll be at about $422,000 next year. Just for some frame of reference, we are buying a street sweeper next year is $325,000. So that tells you how far that 422 goes. So in the general fund, we are providing you a budget that is balanced, using about $125,000 in savings. That is completely within your 15% fund balance policy, and it is following a year, which is this year, that I believe we're going to finish adding money to fund balance, and we're going to circle back and talk about why that is at the end. Water fund, $9.2 million. We've seen as high as a 20% decrease in usage in the water fund in the last 15 months, dropped to 16. That's continuing to improve. We think next year we've budgeted a 7% decrease on average to last throughout the rest of this next fiscal year. Not proposing any water rate increases, delayed implementing the master metering charges from July to January of 2022 after our public meetings and listening to the public. Capital, $4.4 million. Majority of that, sedimentation and coagulation project at the water plant, $3.5 million. We are looking for funding to do that, whether it's low interest money through the state, whether we have to end up financing it or not, but we're looking for a source of money to do that. We've been working on it several years, and ultimately it has to occur. We're just trying to find some help with that if we can. And the water fund, looking at using about $134,000 of savings to make that work with no rate increases. Feel like it's important to not increase those rates again, because people are still trying to recover and seeing how they can make ends meet as well. Electric fund, nestled right in the middle of the water and sewer fund, is a bright spot. largest portion of our budget, almost $30 million. We are getting no wholesale rate increase from the power agency passed on to us in July. So we would like to pass on, for the third year in a row, a rate decrease to our customers, averaging between 2% and 7%, depending on what type of customer you are, commercial, residential, industrial, and categories within those. That would go into effect August 1st, with the billing that happens beginning August 1st. Capital plan is pretty meager next year, a little over $800,000. You see there the things that we're going to continue doing, replacing 25-year-old substation breakers, doing some upgraded underground work, industrial customer substation work, improvements to the line feeds for the hospital, and several other things. This budget, even with this rate increase, we are needing to use $500,000, $530,000 in savings to make it work. We still believe that's doable because we're going to finish this year putting money into fund balance and also setting money aside in our rate stabilization fund for future rate increases. So this is very doable. Wastewater, they're our little struggling fund. Sewer is our super expensive fund, and next year is definitely an example of that. So we're budgeting a continued about 11% decrease in usage over 2 years ago. I think I should have explained that those are from where we were before COVID hit. No rate increases in this fund either, once again delaying the master metering until January 22. So we're looking at a $10.7 million budget. The majority of that $6 million capital plan falls again really largely to one project, $5.2 million at the Silver Creek Pump Station. It's a workhorse in our system, and we have got to do this project. We have applied for $600,000 in grants toward that, and for the rest of it, looking for financing, low-interest money, whether it ends up being money that we can get through the state revolving fund or whatever. We're still on the search for that. Sewer's debt service already sits at just under $2 million a year from all the $20 million worth of projects that we've had to complete for regulatory reasons at the plant over the last handful of years. Again, we need to use savings to do this and to not raise rates, and that's of about $172,000, and that too is doable. The Compass Fund, so we continue to grow internet business. Phone business grows. We continue to lose TV customers because TV is super expensive. And once again, however, we continue to lose those customers at less than the national average. So we're still providing it all. Programming costs for TV next year is $2.25 million just to provide the programming. Now, the good news with that is we just entered into our new 3-year cycle of those negotiated rates with our off-air, our broadcast, WBTV, WCNC, SOC, those folks. It went better than we were told to expect with our national consultant and all of that. So rather than raising that TV fee $10 again in January, we're recommending $5. And I know it's still high, but we made the commitment to pay for the TV and not subsidize it with the internet rates. Capital improvement, $900,000. We need another upgrade to our internet equipment because everybody is using more bandwidth than they know what to do with. And that's about $450,000, and a new billing system at $176,000. We are still using the one that we installed in 1992. When it was 1992 when we started the Compass Cable Fund. We have gotten our money's worth, and she no longer serves her purpose. We need to bury her, and we hope to do that. Using about $136,000, $135,500 in savings in that fund. The Cemetery Trust Fund, this is nothing more than lot sales and niche sales and marker sales at $16,500. The intergovernmental ones, the IT, warehouse, and garage, $2.6 million. Nothing truly exciting or largely different than in the past here. IT, $1.4 million, the warehouse, $495,000, the garage is up at $685,000. We've increased fuel purchase projections because of the price of fuel by $125,000, and we need to install a washing station for our heavy equipment to meet our stormwater permit at the garage. The state is insistent that we do that, so we've got quotes, and that's $125,000. So personnel, 1% COLA is included in this budget that would go into effect in July of 2021. A 3% merit pot is included that would be effective for qualifying employees in February of '22. The 1/3 market study, or mini review as we look at it, for the public safety positions in electric are included in this. There's no contribution recommended to our post-employment benefits trust fund, and we do continue funding for law enforcement separation allowance, insurance cost, and retirement. Employees continue to contribute their 6% to retirement out of their funding, and then $50 a month toward insurance cost. So we talked a bit about finishing this year up much better than we thought, and sales tax being one of those. And the other thing is that our property tax collections were really on mark. Now, it's not been as easy as before, but they're still hovering in at right around 98%. The big savings really comes in this last year, citywide for salaries and benefits, $962,000. $750,000 of that was in the general fund, $212,000 in the utility funds. So how did that happen? So COVID hit, we made a lot of adjustments. Staff reassignments, people doing jobs that weren't their normal jobs, if their normal jobs weren't functioning as they normally did. We had several groups that had periodic layoffs and were not working. We had very limited, and for most of the year, no part-time hiring. And then canceled service contracts and did a lot of things in-house in our reassignments and all of that. Those are big dollars. As fortunately, we are seeing things opening up. People are getting vaccinated. People are getting back out. We're being allowed to do things we weren't. This is not sustainable because ultimately we're in the service business and it takes people to provide that. So we have budgeted not for this savings, but to spend these dollars so that we can provide the services that make Morganton, Morganton. So, summing this up. Last year was a whole lot like you open that box of candy and it looks good, and you grab that piece that looks delicious and you bite into it, and it's that one with that pink fruity gunk in it that's disgusting, and you want to spit it out as soon as you put it in your mouth. And that was really 2020. And actually the beginning of 2021 was the other half of that piece. But now we're starting to see something different. And so now we're picking out that piece in the middle that's got caramel inside and that nice dark chocolate and just melts in your mouth when you try it. So yes, it's been difficult. It's been difficult to put this together in a way that we feel really good about it. But we feel really good about it. We're finishing 2021 with better than expected financial condition, and I've shared with you why I think that is in large part. We're still continuing to ask you to balance financial responsibility with our ability to move forward, with our ability to do the things that make us special, with our ability to do the things that makes a Unix want to be here, that makes them want to be our partner in this community. We're offering services at reasonable costs. We're continuing our community investment. We're accomplishing projects in our master plans. We didn't just do a plan and put it on the shelf. We're actually doing something with it. All of those things. How we've done that is with the city employees' cooperation, with our community's cooperation, with a partnership of everybody there. Our employees have stepped up They've done what they were asked to do this year. They'll continue to do that. Our department heads approach the budget with common sense and with a spirit of partnership with their colleagues, knowing that we're all in it together. You guys went through budget committee meetings and gave us advice and give us feedback all the time. We got Jessie and her team, and Jessie is well, she's not brand new to this game anymore, but she's still fairly new to this game. But she has a really great sense of balancing common sense and the little pieces of it and how they fit in with the big picture, and for that I am very appreciative. So we offer to you this budget. We offer this budget like the caramel candy because we're ready to get reopened and get back to life. And if you take a look around, you get to see some of the things that make us special, because I think it's always good to put a picture with what's going on in your mind. And we've got all kinds of happening things there, and we're going to see even more of it next year. And with that, that's all I have to say about that. So, I would ask that you consider calling for a public hearing on this budget on June 21st, Monday, in this room at 6:00 p.m.
Jesse, would you like to add anything to Forrest Gump or to Sally Sandy?
Well, I think we've used all the good quotes, but no, just thank you for your support. It's an honor to work with Sally and learn from her, and just hoping to grab that up for as absolutely long as possible as she'll be here.
Yes.
And just thank you for all the staff and other department directors and everyone that made this year as enjoyable as it could be, and still loving being here. So thank you.
Thank you. Okay, what's the wish of council?
I'd like to make a motion to call for a public hearing on the proposed budget on Monday, June 21st, 2021 at 6 p.m. I'd also like to add a personal note of what a great job, first of all, the presentation was, but the staff's work through this year has been spectacular, and that's why we are, I guess, enjoying chocolate, in my case, coconut.
Oh, I can go for that too, just not that pink stuff.
I will second both of those.
Okay, I've got a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Jesse, thanks so much. Okay, next is a consideration of a public hearing and the consideration of rezoning request for 8.566 acres of property located at 0 Stonebridge Drive from medium-intensity district and low-intensity development to high-intensity district. I'll call Philip Luckadoo, our planning director.
Mr. Mayor and members of council, the gentleman in the back of public safety told me I had no less than 2 minutes, so I'm going to have to talk really quick to get you all the information that you need. The property, I'll make sure I have.
Call the public hearing.
Yes. We'll open a public hearing and go ahead and get that started, Philip, before your presentation.
So the property, I do have a little bit of news. When this application was submitted, it was 0 Stonebridge Drive. We have since assigned that to 131 Stonebridge Drive, so it actually has a real address now. The location is just off of Fleming. Chad, if you'll pull that presentation up, I don't.
Give me 1 second, it's got to slow back here.
Okay. I'll go on with the report, but it's on Stonebridge, just off of East Fleming, and it is, for locational purposes, it sits directly behind the Mission Mart. So if everyone knows where that is, the future land use map calls for this property to be residential medium density and planned residential mixed use. The adjacent properties to the north are designated as general business commercial, and they're also residential mixed use, and to the south is planned residential mixed use. That follows similarly with the current zoning. The properties to the north are HID, which is our general commercial district, and other side would be LID, or our low-intensity district. The concerns that came out at the Planning and Zoning Commission meeting were related to traffic capacity, and then also to the potential effect of an HID development on this property. So between the Planning Commission meeting and this meeting, I did a little bit of research into what DOT calls level of service. The Stonebridge Drive is recognized as a minor arterial, as a thoroughfare classification. And as such, on a two-lane road, that capacity is 9,700 vehicles per day. The 2019 map that you can find on NCDOT's website shows that that is it currently has 3,500 vehicles per day. I just picked out a development that I thought would have an intense traffic impact of multifamily development. I backed out a couple of numbers and came up with about 137 units that could be put there. If I figure the average traffic per unit, that would be about 800 additional vehicles per day. So using a very conservative number, I chose 2,000 additional vehicles per day. That puts us at 5,500, so you can see we're just over half capacity. There is plenty of capacity on that road, according to what I'm told from NCDOT. So we were fine. We were okay with that from a staff level. The additional concern was potential impact of the floodplain, and because there is some floodplain on that property. Any property that is developed that is within the floodplain has to have a floodplain development permit that goes through our floodplain development and prevention ordinance. And so any development that occurs there would have to have that permit. So we feel like that issue from a environmental perspective is taken care of through compliance with that ordinance.
Philip, on the map that's showing right now, the property to the right and sort of dotted, is that the floodplain?
Yes, the property that you're looking at, on the right, there are, if you look at the property line, the yellow kind of wavy property line, that is the stream channel.
Okay.
The next line out, which you would have, is a purple line, and then between that stream channel and that line is a blue dot hatch line. That is the floodway. The next line out in the purple is the floodplain. So it affects a very minor portion of that property.
And while that slides up, the city limits looks like it starts on the bottom of the big piece and goes around. So is the big piece in the city limits? Looks like there's two parcels.
It is outside of the city limits. It follows, I can't point to it for you, but it follows the left-hand.
Right. The smaller piece is inside the city limits.
That is correct.
Okay.
And all of it's within our zoning jurisdiction.
Okay. Thank you.
So, at the conclusion of the Planning and Zoning Commission meeting that was held at May 13, 2021, it was it says unanimously, but obviously it wasn't. It was an 8-to-1 vote in favor of that rezoning request. So they voted to recommend approval of this request.
Okay. Would anyone like to speak for or against the rezoning request? If not, we'll close the public hearing. Any questions for Philip from council?
Philip, I assume that the stream is downstream from Bethel Park.
Correct.
Yes.
Do we foresee major changes or problems with that as the stormwater there is routed to hopefully move through the park in a different manner?
No.
Okay.
Because of the way that we are, and we haven't completed construction drawings for Bethel Park, but because of the way that we are proposing to address the flooding and the addition and the floodwaters coming through Bethel Park, we would actually increase capacity within Bethel Park, and it would flow at the same rate that it would
Yeah,
up
without
to the downstream properties. And we will, and in part of that, we will also have to be approved by North Carolina Department of Environmental Quality, the Army Corps of Engineers and all that, so that we actually, and what we're doing up there is in the floodway. So we would actually be required to not impact downstream properties.
Well, obviously, too, I mean, you've answered the question about building in the floodplain anyway. They have to meet certain standards and issues there. But
To be clear, the stream that runs along the boundary of this property is not the stream that flows past.
Oh, I thought it was.
Bethel Park.
Okay.
That would be the east prong of Hunting Creek, which is the one that flows just on the other side of Stonebridge Drive.
Okay.
I mean, it's very close, but
Yeah.
it's not the stream that you see on this map.
That is correct.
That, I understand the direction you're talking about now, sure do. I had forgotten that. Thank you.
Any other questions? Thank you, Butch. That was a great question. Okay, then I will entertain the first motion, please.
Motion to amend the City of Morganton future land use map to reflect that the subject parcels of this rezoning request are hereby designated as general business/commercial, thereby allowing the request to be consistent with the Mission 2030 Land Development Plan.
I have a motion to have a second.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. I need a second motion, please.
Make a motion to adopt an ordinance for a map amendment of 8.566 acres of property located at 131 Stonebridge Drive from Low Intensity District LID and Medium Intensity District MID to High Intensity District HID.
Thank you, Chris. Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Next on our agenda is consideration of establishing filing fees for the municipal elections. Sally?
That's me.
Oh, I'm sorry, Louis.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Biannual ritual to establish the filing fees for our local elections, which would be held in, or to be held in November with filing fees, filing period in July. Since we are not a city that elects people based on residents, the voters aren't based on the districts. Therefore, we, unlike many cities, will not have to postpone our elections till 2022. We have for many years set the filing fees at $20 for each council seat, which is within the statutory, well within the statutory limit. That we have for elections this year 2 seats. District 3, currently held by Chris Hawkins. District 4, currently held by Wendy Cato. Those are the 2 seats which are up for election. And staff is suggesting we again use the $20 fee.
What's the wish of council?
Motion to set the filing fees for each city council seat to be elected in 2021 at $20.
I have a motion to have a second.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Next is consideration of an agreement to participate in the 2021-2023 Western Piedmont Stormwater Partnership, the SWP. Sally?
And before I do that, because Kelly reminded me and I forgot, could I tell everyone at home that our budget can be viewed as of tomorrow on our website? Sorry, I forgot that. And we also have copies at the library and here. Needed to say that. I'm slow, but I came back. So our stormwater agreement, this is with the COG, and this is to help us maintain our stormwater permit required by the state. And this is the public outreach and education portion, and the COG does that for the units in the Unifor that have to do this, and therefore we get to take advantage of working together and saving a little money. The cost for this, and this will become effective with the July 1st budget and be effective July 1, 21 to June 30th, 23. It's a 2-year agreement, the dollar amount to be adjusted each year. So for the first year, it will be $12,370.
What's the wish of council?
Motion to approve the agreement to participate in the 2021 2023 Western Piedmont Stormwater Partnership at a cost of $12,370, and to authorize the mayor and city manager to execute all necessary documents, including any technical corrections.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Any questions? Any discussion? All in favor of the motion, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Next is consideration of a resolution authorizing and application for a grant from the Environmental Enhancement Grant Program. Sally?
So we've talked a bit tonight about Bethel Park and the need for improvements over there, particularly as to its propensity to continue to flood. And we need to do some stream work over there and then some park restoration work. We have become aware of another opportunity, and we currently have a grant opportunity in. Another one is the Environmental Enhancement Grant Program, coming to us in a new grant cycle opening up through the North Carolina Attorney General's office. That seems a little strange, but that's where it's coming from. We would like permission from you to apply for $200,000 through this program that would go with our other money to really, if we were successful, to be able to start making a difference at Bethel Park. I will tell you, as you all know, based on our preliminary engineering, based on the proposals in our master plan and what we're looking at over there, all in, said and done, all the stream work, all the restoration work, all the infrastructure work, and then actually to outfit the park, we're probably $3 million in. So this is a start.
What's the wish of council?
Motion to approve a resolution authorizing an application for a grant from the Environmental Enhancement Grant Program.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Next is consideration of award of contract to Carolina Power and Signalization Incorporated for a high-voltage pole line at the electric substation, delivery number 7. Sally?
So we're entering the electric substation delivery number section portion of our meeting. This one and the next item, and this is something that we've been issuing contracts and working on now for several years. So we are replacing the more than 100-year-old Rand Street substation, and we are building a new electric substation located on property off Coal Chute Road on the property that School of Science and Math is located on. So in order to do that, we're going to serve that station with the high voltage line that Duke has that runs through the community college on that property below there. So we have to connect to that. So this is for that part of the project. Our consulting engineers solicited 4 contractors to bid. We received bids from 3. The lowest bid that was responsive came from Carolina Power and Signalization out of Fayetteville. They're currently doing work for us on other projects. They bid $81,009, and they also bid as a contingency, should they hit rock while they're doing this project, it will be $490 per cubic yard to deal with that. This is included in our budget, and we would recommend that you award this contract tonight.
What's the wish of council?
Motion to award a contract to Carolina Power and Signalizations Incorporated of Fayetteville, North Carolina, in the amount of $81,009 for the construction of the high-voltage pole line, and to authorize the mayor or the city manager to execute and issue those agreements on behalf of the city together, with the additional authority to make such alterations, technical amendments, and changes as may be necessary to implement the agreement.
Thank you, Chris. I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Next is consideration of award of a contract to Sumter Utilities to construct electric substation delivery 7 off Fleming Drive and approve a budget amendment. Sally?
And this is the big part of the contract. So we're finally getting to the part of the contract that is for the construction of the station. Again, Southeastern Consulting Engineers has helped us with this and helped us even through the bidding process. Bids for this project were received in this very room on May 27th at 2 o'clock. in the afternoon. 6 bids were received. All bids were submitted. The bid tab is included in your information. After reviewing those for completeness and responsiveness with the help of our consulting engineers, Sumter Utilities out of Sumter, South Carolina, is the lowest responsive bidder. The bid price is $1,695,447. That price includes $1,695,447. Too many numbers tonight, people. And the price includes $50,000 in contingency funding. The good news is we got 6 bids. The good news is that this one was complete. The bad news is that that is $395,000 over the money we had budgeted for this portion of the project. We have been back, we have talked with them, we have looked at everything. I'm going to tell you that it is completely indicative of what is going on right now. Material shortages, waiting for everything, not able to get it, pricing. We buy a lot of electric wire, and right now we can only be quoted a bid for 24 hours. In 24 hours, that price is no longer good. And that is happening all over. To delay this is not going to change this situation, in my opinion. It is a critical part of our infrastructure. And, I mean, we've got 10, 11-month delivery times on things. You guys know. It's very stressful. Because this year, at the beginning of the year, we received a $2.4 million credit from the Power Agency, which we decided at the time we would use for this project. We can do a budget amendment and still this year complete the year in the electric fund without using any of our retained earnings. So we're recommending that we award it, and we're recommending the budget amendment in order to be able to get the contract signed, get the stuff ordered, and get the work started.
What's the wish of council?
Motion to award contract to Sumter Utilities Incorporated in an amount not to exceed $1,695,447 to construct electric substation Deliver 7 and to allow the mayor and/or city manager to execute the contract and make technical changes as necessary.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Sally, let me make sure the public understands this. Rand Street is 100 years old, that substation.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, it's pretty pitiful, too.
Yeah.
So
You all have been to see it on 2 of our field trips, and it's sad. So this not only replaces this with state-of-the-art equipment, but it also builds capacity in our system.
Sally, I also understand, excuse me, that we are faced with, frog in my throat, we're faced with having this ready for the opening of the School of Math Science, right?
One of the stipulations in them agreeing to give us a permanent easement to put this on their property is by the time they open, sometime late next spring, that we have this work. They would really like for us to have this work complete.
So we really do need to get moving.
We're about at the last possible time in order for us to meet that.
any further discussion? All in favor of the motion, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. I need another motion, please.
I'll make the motion to approve a budget amendment in the amount of $395,000 to increase the budgeted expenses for the construction of Delivery 7.
I have a motion. To have a second?
I'll second that.
Any discussion? All in favor of the motion, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. And I think our next one is consideration of award to T&K Utilities. Did I skip one? Okay.
I think we've got the Wilkie construction contract amendment.
Consideration of an amendment to Wilkie Construction for the Courthouse Square project and approve a budget amendment. Sally?
Remember earlier we talked about all those projects that we have going on that we've been working on all year that we didn't quit? Well, Courthouse Square is obviously one of those. At the time in September of 2020 when we awarded the contract to Wilkie was $2,718,416. And at that time, there were some items in the project that we would have liked to have done, but we value engineered out so that we could come in at that number. Since that time, we have had some successful fundraising, and Sharon has been out beating up people to get some private funding to come into the project. And we would like to ask tonight for you to amend their contract to $2,773,962 to add back in the biocell at $26,000 and then installation of sod as opposed to seed and grass at $29,146. The biocell is a retention, a water retention item that will be like a garden, like a rain garden, my description, that will also have an educational piece with it that kids and other folks can see on the square.
What's the wish of council?
Motion to amend the contract with Wilkie Construction by $55,146 for the Courthouse Square project in order to allow the creation of a biocell and installation of sod instead of seeding.
Have a motion to have a second.
Second.
Any discussion? Sod will work much better than seeding, I'm sure. Well, Butch, would you agree?
Oh, yeah, get it, move it along quicker.
Okay.
Everybody stays off of it for the 7 or 8 weeks after it's put in.
That's a big plus.
Leave the fence up.
That's
Any other discussion?
Yeah, exactly.
All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
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 Motion passes. I need a second motion, please.
Make a motion to approve a budget amendment in the amount of $55,146 to recognize private contributions received for the creation of the biocell and placement of sod on the courthouse square.
Thank you, Chris. I have a motion to have a second.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor of the motion, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Next is consideration of award of a contract to T&K Utilities for water line connections at Broughton Hospital on Patrick Murphy Drive and approve a budget amendments. Sally?
Have I mentioned tonight that we have a lot going on?
We're spending some money.
We are. Well,
So this is the ongoing utility challenges with the Patrick Murphy Drive and Murphy's Farm project. So this was a water situation that was with the Broughton water system and some old service to vocational rehab, discovered as we get out there in order for the project to move forward. And again, they're also in the situation trying to award bids, trying to get stuff in, delays the whole bit. This needed to be moved very quickly, and we needed to install a different water meter. So consulted with our attorney and decided that that constituted an emergency, and so we've had these guys on site because of the time period associated with all of this, and they've done part of the work. So we are asking now for you to come back and award this contract, and we still don't have the water meter in. The total cost that they bid was $84,251.99. The state is paying $75,000 of that. As per the city's water policy, if a customer is installing a 4-inch or larger meter, then we will pay half of that up to $10,000. And so we'll be paying our $10,000 to complete the contract.
What's the wish of council?
Motion to award a contract to T&K Utilities Incorporated in the amount of $70,130 for the construction and installation of a meter vault, water meter, and associated infrastructure to allow the city to take over provision of water service to state of North Carolina facilities located between Enola Road and Patrick Murphy Drive.
I have a motion to have a second.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. I need a second motion, please.
I'll make the motion to approve a budget amendment in the amount of $84,251.90 to recognize the receipt of payment for reimbursement of services of the water line connection for the Murphy's Farm project on the Broughton property.
And I believe that's 99 cents. I believe you said 90, so I just want to make sure we get our
99
cents right.
yeah.
I have a motion to have a second.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes.
And I should have been clear, the $70,130 is for the work. The other cost is for the materials, the meter and the.
Meter mainly.
Good around it.
Next on our agenda is a city council appointment. There are 2 terms expiring on the Board of Adjustments. Hugh Lowe no longer lives in the city of Morganton jurisdiction. He served on the board for several years, and we appreciate his service. This vacancy will be a second position, so I need a motion to at least make one appointment.
Make a motion to reappoint George Bailey to the Board of Adjustment as first alternate for a term to expire on June 3rd, 2024.
I have a motion to have a second.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. We have a second city.
They're looking for volunteers to fill the other seat. If you're interested, please contact Kelly.
Second is our Cable Television Commission. This is a city council appointment, 2 terms expiring. Dorian Palmer at large and Jim Coleman from Western Piedmont Community College. Dorian is moving out of the city limits and will be not eligible. These appointments will be made at a future date, so they are 2 terms for the Cable Television Commission. Next is our Community Appearance Advisory Commission. These are mayoral appointments, 3 terms expiring. Judy Lane, Barbara Norville, and Cheryl Grafton. Barbara is unable to continue service this time, so I wish to appoint Judy Lane and Cheryl Grafton to the Community Appearance Advisory Commission for a term to expire on June 1st, 2024. Next is a mayoral appointment for the Main Street Advisory Board. They work with the Main Street staff to oversee and advise the development of downtown Morganton. The board's made up of business owners, property owners, and interested individuals. At the time, there are 5 members whose terms are expiring. There will be a total of 7 vacancies, so I am going to appoint Keith Suttles and Julia Mode to the Main Street Advisory Board to terms to expire on June 30th, 2024. I'm going to appoint terms to expire on June 30th, 2024, Bill Steiner, Polly Ledbetter, and Keith Whitaker. And I'm going to appoint for terms that end June 30th, 2022, Ty Stefanidis, Mary Ann Kozier, Ashley Bruner, and Nancy Van Oppen. Okay. Do we have anything else to come before council?
We do.
30-day notice.
We have P and Z. We still have a couple of.
Okay.
I think we still.
Couple more, yeah.
Yeah.
We do?
Yeah,
Yes,
it's in
planning and zoning.
Planning and zoning.
There are 3 terms expiring, Eric Ingstrom, Waits Gordon, and Bill Lennon, and this is council appointment. And all 3 of those have indicated a willingness to continue serving for a term that would expire on June 3rd, 2024.
Thank you, Sally. What's the wish of council?
Motion to reappoint Eric Enstrom, Waits Gordon, and Bill Lennon to the Planning and Zoning Commission for terms to expire on June 3rd, 2024.
Thank you, Wendy. Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. And the Recreation Advisory Commission, Sally?
We have 1 term expiring, and that is Ruth Roseborough, who has also let us know of her willingness to continue serving, and that would be for a term to expire on June 30th, 2024.
What's the wish of council?
Motion to reappoint Ruth Roseborough to the Recreation Advisory Commission for terms to expire on June 30th, 2024.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
The motion passes. Oh,
Also, in there, you have an application from Chandler Moore, who's been stuck in, it was a last minute appointment or application, and Chandler Moore would like to be appointed to the Recreation Advisory Commission, and staff has recommended.
thank you.
Because
for
we have a
term.
vacancy. And would that be a term to go until 2024 also?
Correct.
Okay.
What's the wish of council?
Motion to appoint Charles Moore, Chandler, excuse me, Moore, to serve on the Recreation Commission
Okay.
for the term of June 30th, 2024.
Thank you, Wendy. Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes.
There's one more.
No.
We do. We have the 30-day notice, which we have a boatload of appointments in June. 30-day notice for ABC Board. The term of Mark Scholar is expiring in August. He has indicated that he is willing to continue serving. We do not have a July meeting, so if you choose, you can go ahead and reappoint this to become effective at the August date.
Is that an appointment or?
It's a city council.
It's council.
Council.
What's the wish of council?
I'll make a motion to appoint Mark Scholler.
Yes. For that particular seat.
For that seat.
To be reappointed.
Right.
I have a motion to have a second.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Next, I think we need a motion for economic development project and go into closed session. Do I have such a motion?
So moved.
Okay, we've got a motion to go in
Louis is
closed.
going to want you to read
Yeah.
those statutory.
We've got a motion to go into closed session pursuant to NC statute section 143-318.11, parentheses A, parentheses 4, to discuss an economic development project. Was there a second?
Second.
We will go into,
Got to vote on it.
yeah, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Okay.
We do not expect a decision outside of this, so.
There will not be a decision.
Okay, we will now go into closed session.
Go to the little girls.